hell is going on with female character design choices from Western developers? What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. The latest craze is Star Wars Outlaws and how this game from Ubisoft looks to potentially just be another failure of a Ubisoft game. But ultimately, what more is coming out of this is not the game itself, but the character design of the main protagonist. This woman, supposedly a female, based off of this woman. I don't know. Not really seeing it, but who knows? Maybe technology just isn't there yet. Maybe we're having trouble getting the graphics one for one. Oh wait, no. They did that with the male protagonist in the other Star Wars games. That worked fine. What is it with the woman? Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down this interesting situation that compares and contrasts the dynamic of development choices from Western developers related to how the developers over in Korea and Japan and everywhere else over there seem to know how to develop a female when compared to the Americas and, well, the West in general. Let's talk about this in more detail. The landscape of video game character design has undergone significant transformations. I mean, we look back at the NES and Samus Aran and Metroid and be like, yeah, nice ass. It's got a bunch of squares there. That's the original what we thought a female design in video game would look like. And now we have this. The graphics have become so far advanced that controversy has to join it at some point, and here we are. A notable trend among Western developers is their approach to character aesthetics, often opting for designs that emphasize realism and relatability over traditional notions of what attractiveness really is. It's almost like they take a beautiful female person, transcribe that into a video game, and then make them uglier so that more people can relate to looking like them? I don't know. I use video games as a form of escapism, so trying to make the character look more like a everyday person that isn't very special just isn't doing it for me. Grums on Twitter said, "It's always the jawline. No reason to give every woman in AAA games a male jaw, so why do they do it?" And that was in response to Grizzy's, "This is the main character for Star Wars Outlaws. Can't wait to not play it and watch it fail." And then in contrast to that, Hypnotic jokingly said, "Faces aren't that accurate when compared to the model because it's hard to do. You just don't understand the complexity and the difficulty that goes into it." I guess they got lucky on these, huh? And that was in response to someone trying to defend how the graphics on the female characters are just really hard to do, and these Western developers are just trying their best, giving it their old college try to make these characters look as good as possible, and they just can't do it. But they can do it with the men, just not the women. Yeah, that is the model that the Star Wars Outlaws main character was designed after. I can't even begin to start on where they went wrong in converting this real-life person into this. But then you say, Smash, maybe it is just a female thing and that these women are really hard to design. The developers are trying their best, they just can't do it. And then you look over at Shift Up, the South Korean studio making Stellar Blade, and how this game has gone gold. And this is Eve, the main character of the game. And you say, oh, maybe they put all the work into making this woman look fake just so they can sell it to really horny guys playing video games. And then you realize, no, she was actually based off a real life person. And that's just one example. There's countless others out there, but I don't want to lose the plot of this video. The main point is to question what the hell is going on with Western developers and why they can't make an attractive woman as the main protagonist. I can't help but think there's something much deeper going on behind the scenes. Learning the Law said, Western activists trying not to destroy real-life femininity challenge impossible. The model from Star Wars Outlaws should sue. Laughing my ass off. The heart of this debate touches on deeper issues within the gaming industry and the direction that it's been going over the past 5 or so years. Hell, maybe even longer than that. It just, recent memory is skewed and everything seems to be fixated on why Western developers can't make an attractive female. Video games have long served as a form of escapism, offering worlds and characters that diverge from reality in so many respects, including the idealized beauty of the characters. And again, I go back to, they can do it with the men. Why can't they do it with the women? And then you look at the teams creating these characters and you can't help but think, maybe they're trying to develop the characters that look more like them because they can relate to them better. And then you look over at the other studios making the other games and they're normal looking women that don't have strange hair colors or don't have different ideologies. And I can't help but wonder at the end of the day if this is an agenda-driven motivation based off of the people creating the games in the first place, wanting people to adjust to their lifestyles and live the way they live. So they want the women to be less attractive in the games to maybe pave the road to go that way. I don't know. Maybe that's outrageous to say. And in prior years, I may have been more inclined to say, hey, to each their own. They're creating the game. Let them do it the way they want to. But a part of me feels like the pendulum has swung way too far in favor of this strange reality that some people live in. And I am all for diversity. But when diversity becomes the reason for you hiring someone, instead of hiring the most qualified person for the position, that's what gets the industry in the situation that it's in right now. And it really is as straightforward as that. Now, I could go into further detail talking about Sweet Baby Inc. and DEI hirings and black gamer girls and all this other stuff that seems to cloud the reality. But at the end of the day, all it comes down to is, unfortunately, it seems as though Western developers are not hiring the best people for the jobs. It's no longer diversity. It is now their world that you're living in. And I think that's where the center of a lot of this controversy comes into play. I think at the end of the day, gamers aren't saying you can't make ugly women in games. They're saying, could you please make some games with some attractive women in them? Because we would like to buy them. We would like to escape into those fantasies and play those games. Because we are gamers using games for escapism. But I can't help but look at this and say, no, there's something much more going on here. And this goes into the injection of politics into character designs and the broader discourse around video games. It's blurred the lines of what makes a game a game. The insistence on adhering to a specific aesthetic standard, whether the guise of realism, political correctness, or cultural sensitivity, it all raises questions about the space for creativity and fantasy in modern gaming. It's almost like we've gotten to the point where the character designs were improving. The females were getting to a point of incredible beauty for a video game. And then all of a sudden, about 5 to 10 years ago, a jarring shift happened and it started to regress. And it made me think of this comic that I saw from Wokely Correct Comics. And this is an important discussion to have. It's not something to brush off and be like, whatever, they'll figure it out. No, this is something that you need to talk about, bring attention to, and acknowledge. Western developers are refusing to make an attractive female in their video games. And because of that, their sales are suffering. They're laying people off. The studios are closing. All because of their woke agenda politics that they can't acknowledge themselves that they are injecting directly into the games. And that's Unfortunately, the only conclusion that I can come to going into all of this research that I did going into this video. Sure, I'm sure there could be other things going on in the background and other reasons for it, but when you put all the pieces together, it's really the only thing that makes sense. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Again, if you want more information, check out my article on smashjt.com. I have all the links, references, and the tweets, the images, everything that goes into proving this point that there's definitely something going on in the background. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. Smash it,